Alright ladies and gentlemen, it is your boy Ryan Thomas from Failtech, and today I'm going to be talking about owning a Sony Xperia Z3 in 2016. Now this phone is exceptional, I'm just going to let that out there so far. So you might not like the skin, and you might not like the fact that it looks funny, but you're going to love the build quality, you're going to love the performance, and you're going to love, surprisingly, the camera and the speakers. So I'm just going to be talking about what it's like owning one in 2016, not from my perspective, but from my friend Matt's perspective. He was here, he owns a Z3, he has owned for the past year or maybe even 2 now. And he was here yesterday giving me some B-roll and giving me a list of things to talk about this phone because, you know, he wanted to feature in a video. And he will get his little feature at the end, actually. It's quite funny. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the pros. The pros are the build quality is incredible. It's almost like my Nexus where it's got a glass on the front and glass on the back, but it's got metal rails around the outside and it's a great feeling phone. It's a little bit slippery because of the glass on the back and the fact that it's got rails around the outside. No chamfers here, so it's a very rounded device except for the flat back. So it's rounded on the corners, almost like the iPhone 6 actually, in the iPhone 6s. That's the kind of shape you're going to be expecting from this. The camera is a 20 megapixel absolute monster. This camera is probably by far the best camera I've ever seen on a phone. This is better than the G3 and this is better than the One M8. This is better than my iPhone 6 even. This is a great phone. Now obviously it's Sony. Sony made the best cameras on the market, arguably. In my opinion, the best cameras on the market. So Sony are just going to produce really, really good cameras. The front camera is really good. The rear camera is really, really good. It's capable of shooting 720p at 120 FPS and 4K at 30 FPS. And the 4K looks absolutely phenomenal. Now something you might not know about this device is the fact that it's got both stereo front-firing speakers, almost like the One M8. Now this is weird because you don't really expect that from a Sony device, but it does. It has front-firing stereo speakers and it sounds exceptional. I would say it's on par with the M8, maybe a bit better than the M8, even though the speaker grills are so small. Now they get a little bit loud. They're not the loudest speakers I've ever seen on a phone, but they do get pretty loud. And the quality is not the best, but it's still stereo and it's still front-firing. It's still better than pretty much anything out there. It's also waterproof. That's cool. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't know any of the specifics. All I know that it's at least semi-waterproof. On a phone with that build quality, that's outstanding. And for its age, it's just incredible to have that kind of level of detail on it. Now, apparently the battery lasts a full day, and that's really good. He said that the battery wasn't very good lasting a full day, but obviously me kind of looking through phones, I've had phones that don't even last a full day. They don't even last half a day. So the fact that it lasts a full day is really, really good. And it's speedy, even with that Sony skin that I don't think anyone really likes. It's got an SD card slot and a SIM card slot, obviously, but having that SD card slot is really, really important because then you can expand your storage. Now, he has a 16GB model. You can actually also get this in the 32GB, but that's it. You can't go higher than this, which means you're probably going to want to expand the storage with a micro SD card. Now the cons of this, like I said, there are lots of glass, so there's lots of points of error, kind of points of being able to drop it and it just cracking, which is not very good. Luckily he's never had a problem with this and I've never had a problem with my Nexus. So actually there's not that much of an issue. It's just kind of, you probably want to put a case on it. Also the screen to body ratio is quite small. I think it's around 71%, which is not very good. You can't really tell that much of a difference, but then when you use a phone that has a much higher screen to body ratio, such as something like the Galaxy S6 Edge, you kind of think, wait a minute, this is a really small screen compared to the body, and it kind of gives you a pointlessly big phone. Now talking about how big it is, it's a 5.3 inch 1080p display, which is really, really good looking, and the display is just responsive, it's good looking, everything, but like I said, just the screen to body ratio isn't that good. There's also no fingerprint scanner, which is something a bit, you know, hit and miss really. I complain about it all the time, but I've only ever used one phone that had a fingerprint scanner, and that's my iPhone 6, which is a lot newer than this. Okay, so I'm going to get on some quirks now. There is a notification LED at the top left, and it's right in the corner of the phone, like you couldn't notice it, it's right in the corner, which is weird. I mean, it's cool, but it's a bit weird. There's also a shutter release, like a proper dedicated shutter button on the side, which is something really cool. Now, obviously, I'm probably tempted just to use the button on the screen, and also, you know, you can use the volume down and volume up keys to take pictures now, but there's a dedicated shutter button for the camera, and that's really cool to me, and I absolutely love that. Overall, guys, would I recommend it? Yes, I would wholeheartedly recommend this phone, and so would Matt. Matt would definitely recommend this phone. Now, I would give it probably an 8.5 out of 10. I don't really like the skin and the launcher on it. I'd like, if I could install signage on it, I would, and I recommend you do that. The skin's good, but it's just personal preference and I don't seem to like it. Matt seems to like it and enjoys it, so that's really cool. And he's the one owning the device, I'm just the one talking about it. So here's this little skit now.
I like.
And that's the end of his little skit there. So he likes it, I like it, it's a great phone, would recommend it. You can get them for like £200 now or less, so that's really cool. And it gets the full thumbs up from Failtech. So thanks for watching, guys. It has been your boy Ryan Thomas. Please leave a like, please leave a subscription, please leave a comment, you know, saying if you liked or you disliked the video. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.